You man just be adding some random shit into here, bro. What is the post nut clarity one? Why go on? Yo, Sky High is actually kind of funny.
Alright, so by popular request, I decided to watch
Oh, Jumper or Sky High? I'll add this one. We'll do this one next stream. Uh,
Jumper. I enjoyed it, so I'm making a video on it. The movie starts with our main character David standing on top of the Sphinx in Egypt. He tells us all the extravagant things he's done today, like having coffee in Paris, surfing the Maldives, and making it to the second quarter of the
Best
NBA Finals all before
teleportation.
lunch. That's pretty wild, but how's that possible? We flash back to a young David in school. He's creeping on this girl named Millie. Remember?
Creepy is crazy. I feel like if I had teleportation, what would I do? I would learn as many locations as possible, like he did, but I'd also learn locations out in the air, so I wouldn't have to. I don't know. Like, say I got an airplane or something. Nobody's safe if I got teleportation. I'd be sick. I'd counter that shit. But nah, I don't know. I try learn like as many locations as possible, because the more places you go, the more places you can teleport, the more access you have. If you're ever in some trouble, I would never get. But if you could easily teleport to somewhere where no one else would be.
Millie because she plays a big role in this film. He gives her a beat up snow globe of the Eiffel Tower, which she definitely thinks is ass.
I love it.
Never mind. Doesn't really matter though, because this guy, the classic high school bully, comes up, takes the snow globe, and launches it onto the ice.
There was no
But
need
David's
for that.
not going to let a minor inconvenience prevent him from laying wood, so he walks all the way out to the snow globe to retrieve it. After he picks it up, the ice breaks and he falls in. Yeah, he's dead, man. But before he can drown, he magically teleports into a library. After this, he walks all the way home, and while walking, he tells us a little about his home life. His mom left when he was 5 years old, and his dad is not much of a dad. He gets home, and his
It's
dad's
my
like,
guy,
"Where
it's
the
Yondu.
were you? What were you doing?" But David runs off to his room and locks the door. Then, as his dad breaks in, he teleports out of there, and ends up back at the library yet again. And this time, he realizes, oh shit, I've got powers. He teleports back home and decides he can use these new powers to change his life. So he quickly packs his stuff up to dip out. But before going ghost, he drops the snow globe off at Millie's house to let her know he's still alive.
That's kind of
He
wholesome.
then leaves town, gets an apartment, and practices his teleportation, also known as jumping in this film, in the middle of the day at a public park.
Yeah, that's the dumbest way to practice your. Bro, if I could teleport, you wouldn't know. You would not know. I'm like, maybe I'd mysteriously like pop up every now and then, but you wouldn't know that I had teleportation. Like, nobody would know. I train in such secluded locations.
He's really keeping it low key.
Yeah, no, that's bull though. Nightcrawler teleportation and photographic mem. Nah, but Nightcrawler has limits. I would go for this teleportation. I feel like Nightcrawler is a bit limited. I don't know. We'll check his powers.
Through a travel book and tries to jump to places, but it doesn't work. But he finds a place he's been to before when he was a little kid with his mom. His room then starts shaking around, and then boom, he jumps to it. So if you're not following, he can't just jump willy-nilly anywhere he wants. He can only teleport to places he can see or has a clear mental image of. So the more familiar he is with the place, the easier he can jump to it. Knowing this, he decides to rob a bank because why not? He goes into the bank and asks to use the restroom, and it's conveniently downstairs so he can see the inside of the vault to get a
that is
mental
very
image of it.
convenient.
Then, later that night, he packs up his gear. He closes his eyes and tries to think about the vault and accidentally jumps to the bathroom instead. He tries again and actually gets it right this time and jumps to the inside of the vault. He begins robbing it and he quickly realizes his little ass bag isn't going to be enough, so he has to make a few trips to the vault and back to really clean that puppy out. The next day, a man named Roland rolls up to the bank and asks for all the tapes and names of everyone who has a safety deposit box in the vault. He's told all that shit's confidential, but Samuel L. Jackson isn't here to around. We then cut to David.
Yeah,
as
he
an
was so
adult.
serious.
He's got a
though.
nice spot in New York, and he's got a bunch of pictures on his wall of places he's been to so he can jump to them easier. And this scene right here really makes you want teleportation. He's just jumping around his house, making life easier. He can't reach the remote, so he jumps a little bit closer to grab it, and just being able to teleport almost anywhere in the world whenever.
Bro,
you
I
want.
wouldn't stay in the city. I'm being that one guy in Mob Psycho. But I'm not blind, real. Wait, I want access to the Nether Realm so I can hoard Somali baddies who has. You're sick. I know what you are.
But I'm doing the same shit David does. I'm hitting a lick to get rich, traveling the world, and pulling redheads left and right.
I love those redheads, man.
But that's just me. Later that day, David hits up a bar and he teleports to this chick at the bar in front of everyone. not caring who sees. But he's noticed by this guy. Remember him for later. David leaves
He's
with the
so
girl.
dumb, bro. Like, it's just... You know what, yeah? I feel like the way he uses his powers is because he got them when he was a kid. So he's kind of irresponsible with it. He's not thinking about the consequences, or that there could be consequences if somebody finds out or sees him.
Slams some ham, and then jumps to a beach to catch some waves. But there's no waves. He's told there's a storm that just hit Fiji, so he jumps to Fiji instead. He tries to ride the wave, but he's no Chicken Joe and he falls over. We also get a shot of him enjoying his lunch
Shout
on
out
the
Chicken
top of the
Joe.
Sphinx in Egypt. Must be nice. We then cut to some random jungle and see some commotion going on. We see Roland, the guy from earlier, and he's got another jumper similar to David caught in a trap. He can't jump away because the electricity from the wires prevents
Bro,
him from jumping. The
he
jumper's
doing
like,
too
"What's your
much."
deal, man? Why me?" Roland takes out some sort of ceremonial dagger and tells the jumper that only God should have the power of teleportation. And he kills him.
Only God should have the power to be all places.
I'm not gonna lie, this is one thing I didn't really like about this film.
That's kind
These
of a bummer.
guys, the paladins, hunt down these jumpers and kill them basically just because they're peanut butter and jealous of their power.
He's motherfucking peanut butter and jealous.
That's real, though.
Hate us
Like,
'cause they ain't.
literally.
Act like what they're doing is good and necessary because only God should have this power. Doesn't really make much sense to me, and I don't really like it.
Maybe
but
there was more
whatever.
context to it. Is it based off a book? It might be based off... Hold on, let me check. Let me check now. Let me check now. I still got time. Hold on. Is the movie Jumper based on a book? Let's see. Oh wow. Okay. So, Stephen Gould's Jumper is so much better than the film. I wasn't really expecting much from the book given its general premise and after watching the film first, but the book does so much more with the idea with teleporting powers. The book also manages to stay grounded without involving made up secret societies, wars, or organizations. The book takes place before 9/11 while plane hijackings were very much happening, very much involves powers in its final climax, in a way that kind of made me chuckle. I haven't read Reflex, the sequel to it, and I'm kind of hesitant to it since Jumper ended on such a satisfying note. I'll probably read book that was used as an adaptation for Limitless. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Let me open it up in the tab. Jumper. I need to find someone to read this online. But if it's better than the movie, could have built a verse around Chronicle and Jumper. I feel like Chronicle wrapped up quite nicely, to be honest. Chronicle didn't really need much more. Hold on, let me see Nightcrawler's powers. Look, let's take a look. What are his powers? Reading in 2026. We only live action roleplay now. Shut up! We bringing back reading. Hey, all 2026 we reading, nigga. Remember? Oh, bro, I remember that. Hold on, there's a video. Hold on. I love that video. It's just a bunch of black guys and they talk about how to be reading. What was it? Yes. Is it this one?
Hey Aaron, what do you think of Tube Steak?
It's Tube Steak, nigga, once again. Out here on the block, like we always do.
He ain't hard to find.
Is that a rapper? Does he rap?
Yo,
Wait, hold on. Let me see this shit. Let me show you guys this shit. Why does he keep doing that? That's so annoying.
Aaron, I tried to help you. I tried to show you some love, nigga, and you shit on me, nigga.
Don't tell him. I don't know what it is.
About to end this nigga career, man. Fuck your comic
We
strip,
out here
nigga.
every day though.
You thought we ain't know where a bookstore was, nigga? We right here in front of Barney's and Oakley, nigga.
Every day.
Came in here and got all your books, nigga.
Everything, nigga.
You know what I mean?
Everything.
Yo,
Is that?
fuck this book, nigga. All the rage, nigga. We got rage, nigga. We in the streets.
Hold it up.
It's a soft bag anyway.
Hey, we be reading, man.
Cigarette burn, nigga.
Bro, I got a book right here as we speak. As we speak, we be reading. We be reading. We be reading.
Do some real nigga shit. Dunk a basketball, nigga.
No, I'm saying like read, bro. Read.
Crip shit, no. You see crip shit, no. You see crip shit, no.
Look at all these words in this motherfucker, man.
Bro,
You know what I'm
they
saying?
don't get it.
I'm not feeling this,
They
man.
don't get it.
Shit ain't even
Don't
in
get
color,
it.
nigga.
It ain't even in color. That's
So
rude.
black and white.
I'm gonna color him in with piss. That's all I'm coloring the motherfucker. I'm gonna pee on the motherfucker.
When you gonna do a signing, man? So me and my niggas can come through and bust your ass, nigga. He don't even support the troops, nigga. You an American, man.
That's what I'm true, bro.
Yo, so all my real niggas, go buy the book. Nah, for real, I'm gonna keep it real. Go buy the fucking book.
I just realized who they were dissing. I just like, you see, it's the Boondocks, the guy who made the Boondocks. Oh my god, that's so funny. That's so funny. I feel like there was another video, but we'll leave it there for now.
David gets
15 minutes reading with Viro Sadat. Don't ever.
back to his apartment after a very adventurous night and finds none other than Roland snooping around his place. David's like, dude, get out. But Roland tells him he knows who he is and he knows about his powers. David's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and asks him to leave, but while he's at the door, Roland busts this thing out and tases him mid-jump.
Been a while since you used a door, huh?
This conversation's over.
David's able to jump up to his pictures and tries to dial in and jump to a place, but can't because the electricity from being zapped is still messing with him.
See, bro, this is a problem. This is a problem with this guy, right? He got powers. He'd been using them for years. He got overconfident because he got them when he was a kid. So he's like, he didn't think ahead, like, oh, maybe somebody out here knows about these powers. Like, you got to consider all variables. You got to consider everything, bro. If I have powers, nobody would. I might share with a couple of you guys, man. I might share. You know what I'm saying? Only the Twitch audience would. That's even stupider than what he did, bro. Bro, nobody can know. Not a single soul.
Lingering. Roland zaps him again and tells him to cough up who he's working with before throwing him off the balcony. David tries to run but gets caught and zapped yet again, and this time the wire has him wrapped up. He jumps into one of his rooms and is able to cut the wire. He grabs as much cash as he can while Roland tries to break in, and before he gets zapped again, he jumps out of there and back to his room in his old house. David's dad notices the whole house shaking like an earthquake just hit, so he runs upstairs and pleads for David to not leave.
Don't go. Don't go. Just hear me out. I don't know if I'm going crazy here or not.
David just says, "You're not crazy," and right before his dad can break the chain and break in, he teleports out of there. Back at David's place, Roland is searching the place and finds an old picture of Millie. Yep, she's cooked. David goes back to his hometown and finds Millie's mom. He asks her where Millie is, and he's told that she works at a bar in town. He heads to the bar, sits in a booth, drinks a beer, stares at her for a while like a little weirdo, and then tries to leave.
He is a little weirdo, bro. What was his plan?
On his way out, he bumps into Mark. Remember the D-bag who threw the snow globe at the beginning of the film? Yeah, this is him.
You peaked in high school, motherfucker.
And it.
Mark is like, dude, David, is that you? And David's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who that is. Go away. But as he's telling Mark this, Millie comes up from behind and blows his cover. David's like, oh my god, Millie, hi, I didn't know you were here. And Millie says, dude, I saw you at the booth staring at me like a weirdo for 45 minutes. That's awkward. Mark starts acting, well, like a drunk, and eventually slaps Millie's caboose, which leads to David hitting him with a nice juicer to the lips, and a fight breaks out. David low-key gets stomped out, but while Mark is celebrating, David blast doubles him through a fence and jumps him into the bank vault that he gets stomped out, but while Mark is celebrating...
I can't lie. I'd use a teleportation very Oh my god, I can't say the word. Oh my god, I'm live and I can't say the word. What did I say low-key instead? Say low-key. I'd use it in a very low-key. Here we go.
David blast doubles him through a fence and jumps him into the bank vault that he robbed all those years ago.
I teleport
as I'm like talks a little
punching
heat, and then jumps back to find Millie and tells her that he handled business. At the bar, Millie asks David what he does, and David tells her he's in banking. And Millie's like, that's weird. Didn't you flunk out of algebra?
Didn't you flunk algebra?
No. Suspicious. He then somehow in like 5 minutes convinces her to go to Rome with him. This guy's gone for like 10 years.
That's
for a day,
that's
and
W
this
Riz,
chick
bro.
decides to go with him to Rome. Makes sense. They fly to Rome like
I could have done
normal
that
people,
too.
and I know that was absolutely brutal.
I can't say it. I know the word, but I can't say it. I can't. Bro, okay, you've actually called out the word now. I can't say low key. Hold on. I gotta search. up and I gotta hear it be said. Because now I just feel slow. Subtly. I don't know why. In my head, it was like say the B somewhere. And I don't know why my mind did that. Let's hear it.
Subtly.
So I would use teleportation quite subtly. I wouldn't, you know, I can't say more subtly. It sounds weird. Okay. Ah, sigh. I'm not built for this English language, you know.
Because he can't even grab the remote slightly out of reach, so this flight was probably absolutely torture. They land to get a taxi to their hotel, and the bag guy, the guy who takes the bags, comes to take the bags, and David damn near fights him for his bag because he has all his money and belongings in it, and Millie just doesn't even notice it, I guess. You're gonna notice David does a lot of suspicious things because he's lying to Millie about what he does, and Millie just kind of brushes it off. She doesn't seem to pick up on the obvious red
Millie must
flags
have
that
really
he's
liked
lying.
him, I ain't gonna
Boys
lie.
and girls, this is how you get taken, and unless your father's Liam Neeson, you're probably cooked. So look for the signs and take the hints. Don't
That's
be like
real.
Millie. Alright, we jump to Roland, and he's talking to this detective. The detective starts to catch on to Roland, so Roland knocks him out with one punch and breaks into the interrogation room to interrogate Mark. I don't know how long they talked, but that detective would have woken up within like 5 seconds. Even if you get absolutely blasted and get sent to the Shadow Realm, you're usually back to the real world within like 5 to 10 seconds.
And no,
This guy
he's
was
got to
out
suspend disbelief, bro. It's a movie. What are we talking about?
for 10 minutes, but whatever. Back in Rome, David and Millie visit the Roman Colosseum, and up on a rooftop, we see he's being followed by the guy who was at the
I
bar
like this
earlier, and
guy.
he looks absolutely disgusted by David's actions.
This guy was
the Roman
cool.
Colosseum is closed off, so David jumps to the other side and unlocks the gate behind Millie's back so they can visit the inside. Another red flag, but she goes along with it. They check the place out, but want to go to the bottom area, but they can't because it's also closed off. But lo and behold, our boy David magically gets to the other side and opens up the door for them. Millie even asks, is that door just conveniently open too?
And
Strange, but Millie goes along with it. Again. They get to the bottom.
Yes, we
and
go
it's
along
locked.
with shit.
The locked door isn't going to stop our boy David from getting his winky stinky, so he tells Millie to wait there while he opens it up. He jumps to the bottom, walks over a bit, and finds the guy from earlier draining the main vein in a corner.
Do you mind, man? Just a little privacy, yeah?
Well, that's awkward. David gets to the door, and the random guy whose name is Griffin tells David to not open that door if he wants his girlfriend to live. This sets David off, but Griffin jumps away, revealing that David isn't the only jumper. Griffin's like, you think you can just jump around everywhere and nobody would
Literally,
notice?
bro.
Well, they did. Just then, some sketchy motherfuckers wearing trench coats come out from the shadows. David jumps up to the balcony, but Griffin's here to handle business. The trench coat fellows bust out their zappy things and
Nah,
try
I
to
messed
shoot
with Griffin,
but
bro.
miss.
This guy's
David's
cold.
not so lucky though.
This guy's such a rookie, bro. You have teleportation power. You've had years. You actually had years to practice.
Another thing I want to point out that bothered me a little bit about this movie is the fact that neither David or Griffin, who's been fighting the Paladins for years, decide to jump away from the fight, grab a gun, jump back, and then just start mowing motherfuckers down. They make it so much
I'm teleporting, went into my eye. I go, ga, 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 ga.
much harder than it has to be, but whatever. Griffin's able to jump around and avoid the Paladins for a while, but David's not doing too hot.
I
He's
love
really
the
struggling.
movement.
Griffin's able to jump behind this guy. He grabs him, jumps up to a high point, and then throws him off. After all the heat dies down, Griffin fills David in on who these guys are, and then he grabs one of the Paladins and jumps away. But David is able to jump with him. I don't know if you noticed this, but each time a jumper jumps, they leave behind what's called a jump scar. And other jumpers are able to use that jump scar to teleport with them, following them. That's pretty important, so remember that. Anyways, after a little friendly dispute, David jumps back to the Coliseum because he remembers his girlfriend is still there, and they quickly get out of there. Unfortunately for David, security saw him and called in the one time. They come in, arrest David, and take him to jail. David gets questioned, but he holds it down and doesn't spill a word. But the guy who's questioning him gets up and leaves, and a woman walks in and says hi. David kind of starts to flip out, and the woman tells David he doesn't have much time and he needs to get out of here. Turns out, this woman is actually David's mom. She walks out and David chases her down, but a detective finds him and tries to grab him, but David jumps the guy to the top of the Sphinx in Egypt. That guy's definitely dead. There's zero chance he gets down from there.
not
David
real.
finds Millie, tells her everything's okay, and they head to the airport to get back home. But when they get to the airport, David tells Millie he can't go on the plane with her, and he just leaves her to fend for herself. Back at home, Roland finds David's dad. He lies to him and tells him that he's IRS, and I don't know how they operate, but getting a visit at like 12 at night is crazy.
I'm saying I'm the IRS. Bro, in the dead of night is hilarious.
David's dad, William, actually believed this. Roland asks William about David, and he asks him when is the last time he saw him. William holds it down and says he hasn't seen his son in 8 years, even though we know he teleported to his house not that long ago. He then tells Roland to skedaddle up out of there, and if he hears anything, he'll let him know. But Roland doesn't believe him, and he's like,
No, you won't.
No, I won't.
say what you want about David's dad, but he's a G right here. We cut back to Griffin and David talking about the Paladins. He fills David in a little more on the Paladins and what they want. They just want to kill jumpers.
Literally.
Pretty much it. He also tells David
They
that
kinda
the Paladins
sucked,
will
actually.
pack up anyone and everyone that's close with him. And it finally clicks, and David finally realizes that his girlfriend and his dad are in trouble. He jumps back home, walks into his house, and finds his dad dead on the ground. He jumps into the
packed
nearest
off,
hospital and then jumps to Mark's jail cell to talk to him. He's like, dude, what did you tell that white-haired black dude? And Mark tells David that he told him everything.
Did you tell him about Millie?
Told him everything.
David teleports back to
That's
Griffin's
so
place and is
soft.
greeted by Griffin teleporting in after having dropped
But
the
you,
Paladin.
to be fair, you decided to teleport him to wherever. What did you expect? That guy had no loyalty. He hated you when you were young. He doesn't rate you now because you beat him up. And then, did you even beat him up? You threw one punch and then got. He stomped you out. I guess you retaliated by teleporting him into a bank vault. Dumb idea, by the way. Really stupid idea.
Off in the Atlantic Ocean. David tries to steal some of Griffin's intel, but Griffin tells him it's not worth it. He tells David that him and Roland have been going at it for over 10 years, so David shouldn't even waste his time trying. But David's not having that. David tells Griffin they should team up. Maybe they'll have a better chance against Roland if they're a team. But Griffin's a solo dolo kind of guy. He goes outside, stabs his knife into this generator, and jumps away, leaving behind his jump scar. David's a persistent little gnat though, so he grabs the knife and teleports to the jump scar and into a little restaurant. He looks around the restaurant, but Griffin's already got away. Or so I thought. Griffin jumps to a subway station and turns around to find David still hot on his tail. And he's like, dude, what the f? David continues to follow Griffin
Nah, I really
around and
messed with
tries
this
to
guy.
convince him about the team up. Griffin walks over to a car showroom, teleports inside, he grabs the keys, starts the car, and before he hits the glass, he jumps it through the wall.
Bro,
David
I
hops
love
in
this
and
guy.
they go for a ride. While driving, Griffin tells David that he knew a jumper once that actually tried to jump a whole building.
That's
and
sick.
He died. Remember that for later. They get
Bro,
to the
I'd
airport
be
and
teleporting any and everything around me, bro. I'd mess shit up.
Griffin finally agrees that they should team up to take down this Roland guy. They then jump into the airport and surprise, surprise, the flight from Rome that Millie was on landed over an hour ago, so she's not there. They decide to split up. Griffin's gonna go back to his lair and strap up, while David goes to find Millie. David gets to the bar that Millie works at, and one of her coworkers tells David that she hasn't seen Millie, but she has seen Samuel L. Jackson with white hair. That's not good. David teleports to Millie's house, then up to her balcony to get in. And good news, she's still alive. Bad news, she's pretty pissed at David for leaving her at the airport, and Roland and his boys just arrived. And what happens next absolutely ruffled my feathers while I watched it.
I can imagine,
David,
bro.
Instead of just telling Millie the truth about him and not wasting precious time because Roland is right outside, he paces around like a little kid and is like, I'm not actually in banking. Well, I got that money from a bank, but I don't actually work at the
Why? Let me tell her like the least important parts of what happened. Like, I can teleport. Some guys are here to kill us. We gotta go now. Like, let's just get straight to the point.
Actually, it's technically from two banks. Like, dude, just shut up, grab her, teleport her to a safe location, and then you can spill the beans. You know, like
True,
once
that
you're
too.
out of harm's way.
Oh, you're killing me.
He finally reveals he can teleport by grabbing the snow globe that he gave to her a long time ago. Obviously, she's pretty freaked out, so she tries to get away, but David just grabs her and teleports her to Griffin's lair. You couldn't do that 5 minutes ago. Or when you finally met her at the
You
bar.
could've done
or
that
when you
age-
had her in Rome. I mean, you teleported right in front of everybody at the bar earlier in the movie, so why not now? Anyways, since this is her first jump, it kind of disorientates her and messes her up a little bit, but she's all good, it'll buff out. Back at the house, Roland and his team break in, and Roland uses some high-grade Axe body spray to find the jump scar that David left behind. They then bust out some machine.
No, looking back, I'm like, this guy was actually an idiot. You have the ability to teleport. You have just. There's so many possibilities,
to
and you've
open
just.
up the jump scar. David finds Griffin outside
Consistently
and tells
messed
him
up.
what he did and how he brought Millie to the lair, and Griffin is like, dude, Roland has a machine that can reopen wormholes and keep them open. So you led them right to us. Also, doesn't that mean
Idiot.
that the Paladins are playing with the powers of God, which is exactly what they kill jumpers for? I don't know.
High
Roland
key.
and his team enter the lair through the wormhole, and David and Griffin wait around a corner to get the jump on them. And while they wait, David finds a picture of his mom on Griffin's wall of Paladins, meaning that she must be a Paladin. And David, for some reason, thinks it's a good idea to walk towards the picture, and he gets caught in the zap trap.
You serious?
What is wrong with this guy? I'm that.
They then shoot him again, and he gets flung and stuck up on the wall. Roland approaches
So
him
is
and
my
starts to
man's
take out a
character.
ceremonial knife, but gets cut off by Griffin, who comes in with a flamethrower. He lights the place up, but as he walks away, Roland shoots him with the zap gun thing, pulls him in, and lands a few licks to his lips. But Griffin isn't some bench-riding JV player like David. He runs after Roland while teleporting and blasts him with a shockwave from his jumps. Griffin
That was
single-handedly
sick.
holds this movie down.
That
He
was
then
sick.
teleports outside, starts up his ATV, gives Roland the bird, and teleports away. He finds a bus, grabs that sucker,
That
and
was
teleports
sick.
it back
This
and
was
throws
sick.
it at Roland.
Bro.
Unfortunately, Roland is able to Fast and Furious slide under it safely, and the bus ends
Bro.
up crashing into the lair. But that was still awesome. Roland starts emerging from the rubble.
He's
like
so
Jason in the
sick,
sixth Friday
bro.
the 13th film.
He wasn't the chosen one yet. Bro, this guy was never the chosen one. Hayden Christensen's characters always be on some bullshit, I swear. There's another movie I need to watch with him in it. It's like, they're like, one of them heist crew movies.
And he's headed towards Millie, who's just standing there like a dumbass. But Griffin teleports in with his flamethrower and
Griffin's
blasts Roland,
cold.
which sends him flying back through the wormhole. Griffin then jumps through the wormhole, but Roland is able to cornerback tackle him to the ground. Griffin gets up and grabs a knife, but Roland wraps him up and launches him. Back at the
Griffin's
lair,
so
Millie
sick.
cuts David free and kicks him while he's down to teach him a lesson. Super necessary. David then starts giving a sentimental little speech, but gets interrupted when Griffin jumps back with a device that can open up the wormholes.
Oh,
so Roland
nice.
can't get back to the lair. But apparently he can still shoot his grapnel gun through the hole, because he does, and he's able to pull Millie in before it closes.
Crap, I didn't expect that.
Griffin busts open his safe and starts getting a bomb ready. He says it's now or never. Roland is in there with his whole team, so Griffin wants to teleport the bomb in and teleport back out.
It's not a bad
Millie's-
idea.
Millie's still there, so David's not for it. David tells Griffin that they can't do that.
I can't
because
lie,
Millie's still-
David, we're gonna have to cut our losses, bro. This is one girl you knew as a kid. Like, let it go. Actually, let it go.
there, and Griffin couldn't care less. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. But David grabs the safe and teleports it away. Griffin follows and finds that David threw it over the ledge at the Roman Coliseum. They both race to it and try to teleport it away, but with both of them trying to jump it, things get wonky and they teleport it to the top of the pyramid in Egypt. They then start battling for the remote. They jump to a highway and nearly get hit by oncoming traffic. They then jump to wherever this is. They then jump back to Japan. David then jumps away and teleports to the Empire State Building and throws the remote off the roof. Griffin teleports to the air and chases after it. He's able to grab it, but David teleports in and tackles him midair.
He's
They
so
then teleport
annoying!
into some random public pool and continue to fight for the remote underwater. Then David teleports.
Surely
away
the
to
remote
wherever
doesn't
this
work
is,
at that
and right as
point.
he's about to throw the remote into the water, Griffin teleports into a truck that slams into David, and David teleports away into the middle of a war zone. Griffin hops out the truck and looks around for David while tanks drive around them and bullets whiz past them. Griffin walks over to talk a little shit,
I'm trying to remember,
but
did he
David
kill him?
grabs him and
Did he
teleports
die?
him into an electrical tower which traps him and stops him from teleporting. David then jumps back to Millie's apartment, jumps up to the balcony, and checks through the window to find Millie and see if the coast is clear. He
I don't
then
remember
jumps
what
into
happened
the
to
room,
Griffin, but
like
that was stupid. That was genuinely
10
stupid.
feet from Millie, so the Paladins are able to use their grapnel guns to catch David and prevent him from jumping away. But David starts tweaking and tries to jump anyways, which shakes up the entire building. Remember what Griffin said earlier about what happened to the guy who tried jumping a building? He died. So David chills out and Roland busts out his ceremonial dagger to finish the job. But David's not going to go out like that. He continues to try and jump, and he's actually able to teleport a portion of the building away and into a random river. This sends everyone flying, and Millie's able to break
Portion's not
free and grab onto David, and
did
David
the
jumps
same
the
thing
building to where
anyways.
he made his first ever jump, the library. David's out of it, but after Millie gives him the Will Smith special, he comes back.
Oh my god,
They
that's
sit up,
crazy.
but Roland is still alive, and he
What?
jumps at them, nearly grabbing them before David teleports Millie and him to the other side of a bookshelf. He tells Millie to stay put, and he teleports back to Roland to finish business. David grabs Roland and teleports him to a cliffside cave. He turns to Roland and is basically like, I spared you, this is mercy, and just teleports away. And yeah, Roland is absolutely cooked. There's zero chance he gets out of this. Also, David just proved that he could teleport Roland to this cave, so why didn't he do that like way earlier? Whatever. The end of the film has David finding his mom and talking to her about all this. She reveals to David that she's a paladin and left David when he was 5 because he teleported, and so she left him to protect him, I guess. David's like, what now? And she says, I'm giving you a head start, so skedaddle. And David walks off with his girlfriend Millie, and they lived happily ever after. This movie was apparently supposed to be the start of a franchise, and it did well at the box office. but
Wait,
since
it did well at the box
Yeah.
office?
this movie was apparently supposed to be the start of a franchise, and it did well.
So what happened? Why didn't we get another one? Wait, I didn't expect it to do well. I thought it flopped. I just assumed it flopped. That's why we never got another one.
at the box office, but since the
Wait, hold on. Did I post on my... Oh, you added something.
reviews from casual audiences weren't very good, a sequel probably wouldn't have done very well.
Oh.
And obviously a few other factors went into why we didn't get a sequel. It wasn't just one thing, but at the end of the day, I liked it. Jumper wasn't perfect, but I thought it was fun, exciting, and a cool concept, and I wish they continued because this definitely could have made for a dope franchise, and we could learn more about these characters, especially Griffin, but it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, and also let me know what videos you guys want to see next, but that's all I've got for you guys.
More Griffin, man. Shout out to bro. Yeah, he did carry. What did you add?
Please keep me safe. Boy, better know your place. Couple racks in the safe. Run it up, race. I just want shawty so good. I fucked up this whole lace.